I really believe you're either getting smarter or you're getting dumber. I don't think people stay the same. Now, it may say on your IQ test that you're a genius, but if you're miserable all day long, then, you're intelligently doing stupid things. We have more evidence that placebos work as well as a lot of drugs. And I think placebos work because you believe in them. And with my athletes, a lot of them are on steroids. They believe they couldn't hit the ball as well without it. And while they do make your muscles stronger, so will exercise and eating right. I started giving them placebo. I had them taking multi-minerals and believing that they would replace their steroids and be even better. And some of them ended up doing better than they did with the steroids. What's important is not that you deceive yourself with a placebo, but that you realize the power of belief. I teach people how to control their thoughts in their mind in a way where they get control of their brain, so they can control their own thoughts, the way they feel, the way they think, and therefore what they can do. Personal power is knowing what you do well and what you don't do well, which is where people get into trouble. People come in and say with absolute conviction, I have bad judgment. And see, if you know what you do well and you don't do well, then you should know what to do next to become a better person. And as long as you're better than you were yesterday and a week ago and a month ago, you're headed in the right direction. Making the same mistake is not a good idea. And I assume that everything is a possibility and can be done. And if you believe in yourself, you just need to believe you can do it. You just have to learn the right things. Then you'll start looking for the right things. If you believe you're not a good person, you do not try with every fiber of your soul. And both of those are just ideas, and you can change ideas like you change socks. It's the tone of your internal voice and the clarity of your images about the future instead of blowing the past up and making it big and horrible. All the people I meet that are devastated by bad memories are still looking at them. If I came over your house and painted an ugly picture on your wall, you'd paint over it, but yet people leave them in their minds year in and year out. And in order to work, it requires determination. And you have to know what it feels like, you have to amplify it. If you have a little picture of what you're determined about, you need to have a great big picture of what you're determined about. You got a little voice that says, well, maybe you can. It needs to turn in that says, I'm absolutely going to do this. You think like successful people, you get more successful at things. A lot of people know they fell into a river and now they're afraid of water. But that if you could get terrified in 30 seconds, you should be able to get over it in 30 seconds. It's how you think about falling in the river that scared you for 25 years. So you have to change the way you're thinking and then wade out into the water and put on a pair of fins and flap around for a while till you get comfortable. And it's not till you get determined. And what determination is where you make this, that you go, this is who I want to be, this is who I can be, and you do everything in your power to get there. And it's not that people have that attitude for any other reason other than they've been taught to diagnose themselves. You're the kind of person who, ooh, we looked at your IQ test, you're not motivated, oh, you had bad parents, blah, 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 blah. You didn't have a good education. Excuse me, some of the most brilliant people that I've met in life didn't have a good education, so they figured out great things instead. Once you switch from making excuses and start living, you become determined. Determination is one of the most powerful things I teach most of my clients. They're not determined enough to clean up the inside of their mind and focus on what they want. And all the people that I've ever spoken to, and I really interviewed a lot of people that made it through things that should be impossible. I mean, just the worst of the worst things, being kidnapped and tortured. And when I spoke to the people that seemed to have survived these things well, there were certain things they had. One is a sense of humor, and the other is they kept looking in their mind, thinking about where they wanted to go. Someday I'll be out of this mess, and I'm going to do this, and I deserve it. They went in their brain, and they planted a farm. One of them had grown up on a farm, and he visualized a field. In his mind, slowly plowed the field, put every seed in, and sat and watched it grow. Even when they were beating him on the feet with cane, he was growing his garden and telling himself, someday I'm going to be out of this, and I'm going to plant this field for real. I don't care who you are, bad things will happen in your lifetime. Every love story ends in tragedy because somebody's going to go first. Whether they leave somebody or die, it's going to happen. Every pet you love, it's going to end in tragedy. So, part of having good things is that they come to an end. It's not so much you're recovering, but you're being determined to go back and find the good stuff. The currency of life is how you spend the moments of your day. And if you spend your moments remembering some horrible thing that happened, 5 minutes here, 2 minutes there, 3 minutes there, it adds up. 30 minutes, an hour a day. An hour a day is 365 hours in a year. In 10 years, it's 3,600. And in 40 years, we're talking north of 10,000, 12,000 hours. You're planning to think about this bad memory. And wouldn't it be nice if you could get that time back, the time you spend repetitively thinking? Because if you get back more of these moments you're wasting, you'll, number one, have a lot more time, number two, feel a lot better, and become more of an optimistic, manifesting person on the planet. I really believe you're either getting smarter or you're getting dumber. I don't think people stay the same. Now, it may say on your IQ test that you're a genius, but if you're miserable all day long, then you're intelligently doing stupid things. It doesn't mean you're not wasting your time. We can all learn to think better. Most people have confused remembering
with thinking. It has to do with their thinking that, in the past I've never been able to do something, so therefore I won't be able to do it. So whenever they think about it, they have big pictures in their mind and voices and feelings moving in the same direction, when what thinking really is reversing all of those processes, putting up new big shiny pictures in their head and talking to themselves in a better voice and spinning their feelings in the opposite direction. Because remembering produces a state called hesitation, and thinking leads to action. And when you stop remembering what you can't do and start thinking you can do things, people always surprise themselves delightfully.
See, problem solving is about thinking differently. When you come up against a problem and continue to think about it the same way, you're not really thinking, you're just remembering something you thought before. And if it didn't work before, it probably won't work now. Einstein's definition of insanity was trying the same thing and expecting a different result. So I try to teach people to think in a new way. So when they come up against the way of thinking that doesn't work, whether it's doing art, playing music, solving a business problem, relationship problems, if you don't change the way you think about it, you're going to get the same result. And if you keep getting the same result, you're just taking the moments of your life and throwing them on the floor. And instead of changing the way you think, because that'll change the way you feel, and therefore changes what you can do.
I don't think that people have difficulty planning. I think that they just plan the wrong things. People plan to not get anything done. They think, they go, what should I do today? And they make a list of stuff, and they go, well, I'm probably just going to sit around and do nothing. And they sit around and do nothing excellently. And there's these pictures in their head they follow, and these they don't follow, and they need to reverse them. They need to become compelled. One of the things about successful people is that they're a little OCD about getting things done, and primarily because it feels good. You take somebody that doesn't clean up their closet, they open the closet and they look in and they go, gosh, I really should clean this mess up. And then they think, but I could do this and I could do this and I could do this, and next thing you know, they find themselves doing something else. It's because they don't really make it a plan, they don't make a commitment to themselves and to other people. Most people need a better, more precise plan in their mind to become more motivated. They need to start feeling better each thing they get done rather than worse about how much they haven't. And a lot of it just has to do with where the pictures are in your head, how big they are, and what's in them. It's about conditioning yourself to make these things work towards you. When people feel hesitant, their feelings are going one way, and when they feel motivated, they're going the other way. Everybody who tells me they can't get motivated goes out and does other stuff, which means they can be motivated. Everybody who tells me they have insecurity, I always look at them and go, are you sure about it? And they go, yes. So it's not true that they're not capable of certainty, they're just aiming it in the wrong direction. People who are not motivated are doing other things, and they need to push this stuff around in their mind so they start getting the stuff done that they want to do, so they feel good about themselves. When you reorganize your mind, you become more efficient and more adaptable as an organism. If you give yourself a purpose and a mission, and you keep realigning that mission so that you're adaptable to your environment, your family, your friends, your jobs, you become successful as a person and will feel great. I think you can be much more than you ever suspected.